Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over products that at this point you kind of need to have, or they will sort of run up without you. And what I mean by that is, there is a train for each of these products in terms of like the market graph, and once that reaches a certain point you won't be able to hop on. Yeah, TCG player has been a little weird today with the prices, so I guess we're not going to have the 3 month snapshot, unfortunately. But these are things that are out of print or nearing their out of print window that we're going to talk about today. Things that you might want to buy if you like the product, to definitely make sure you put a mental note in your head to pick this up at some point. First, starting with battle styles, the first alt art set has an Napoleon, has a Tyranitar. As I've said before, it's a decent pickup, not the best from the Sword and Shield era, but halfway decent. I think there's better places you can put your money, but not the worst pickup, all things considered. If you have some, I would probably just keep it sealed. Just no need to sell it right now. It hasn't had enough time to run up yet. I could easily see this being a $400 box in a year, or 2 years. Maybe closer to the 2 year mark, it'll reach 400. But again, that you might see, well, that's you're taking too long to double my money. Traditional investing will not be able to double your money in 2 years. Very consistently. That's pretty hard to do. Pretty hard to do. Chilling Rain booster boxes, another good pickup. Chilling Rain, as I said before, not really something I enjoy. I really don't like the set that much. I think the only good card in that is really the Moltres, the Galarian Moltres. I think the Blaziken is really mid, and a lot of the other Pokemon on there are just not great. But it's an older box. I know a lot of people like it, so yeah. You are still kind of entering your last chance to pick it up. Once it consolidates enough and the price has dropped enough and people accept this new price, then people are going to start buying it up because they feel more confident. Like once Paldea Evolved reaches $400, people are going to go back and snag some Sword and Shield boxes that are $400 because those are way older. Let's keep going. Evolving Skies ETBs, again, I've been talking about Evolving Skies ETBs for so long now. They're still undervalued, guys. Still an amazing pickup in my head. Price graph still not working. Thanks, TCG player. Can't do anything, huh? But yeah, I think Evolving Skies ETBs are still a great pickup. Brilliant Stars booster boxes, again, similar story, not much else to say. I think Brilliant Stars is actually even more underrated. I think it has a really good Charizard chase card. It has an Umbreon trainer gallery, Sylveon, and just a super deep pool of cards. And I think it's super underrated. Definitely would recommend picking this. Lost Origin, not as deep, but it has one big huge chase card in the Giratina. Again, Silver Tempest, 350. Again, not out of print. We're not going to see much more of it. Crown Zenith, obviously. I think Crown Zenith, if you're going to take anything away from this video, I think is that you need to be buying Crown Zenith. Insanely underrated. Like, this is easily one of the best sets ever created in the history of Pokemon, and you're going to wish you had more of it. ETBs, obviously, amazing way to go. Now let's start to get to the most interesting stuff, because we already know Sword and Shield is out of print. Let's move on to Scarlet and Violet, right? So this is where things are a little interesting. A lot of people, I think, are going to love the Scarlet and Violet era. I think it's going to go down as one of the best eras in history. People love pulling illustration rares. It's very fun. And it kind of set off the most recent largest hype cycle of all time. That combined with the Pocket app, right? Scarlet and Violet base, I've been seeing a lot of comments and just kind of general discourse that Scarlet and Violet base booster boxes are going to be some of the best performing booster boxes of the SV era, and I could see that happening. Traditionally base sets tend to be somewhat underprinted. Base sets also tend to be like more kind of outperform their contemporaries, even if they aren't the best sets, just because they are like the base set. So a lot of people have a nostalgia for the base set. And I don't think these are horrible pickups. I don't think they're the best. Like, the set list is not very good, in my opinion. You have a Gardevoir chase is like $30, and it's a cool Gardevoir. Like, it tells a story with the Ralton Curlia, but not the best card. I think if you believe in Scarlet and Violet base, and you really believe that, and I'll be clear, like, I only have 2 boxes of this. I'm not a huge fan of base set. I don't have much of this. I only have like 2 boxes. But what I do definitely would recommend picking up, and what I do have, is the PCTBs. These are pretty rare. As you can see, there's only 2 pages of listings, and there's maybe 4 listings until it reaches $250. So I think these are going to be hard to get because I don't think they printed a ton of the PCTBs. Both of these I think are going to be good pickups ultimately in the long run. I have one of each just to have my PCTB collection, but I do think if you really do believe in Scarlet and Violet boxes, and because it's the base set kind of vibe, I think you'd be better off doing the PCETB if you really do believe in those gains over the single booster box. And it's the same price as the booster box right now, but I think it's going to actually start gapping it much more as time marches on. And again, supply for this much lower, guys. Obsidian Flames is almost in the same, like, I don't think it's bad. It got a reprint recently, as you can see, which was interesting. Or I think Australia maybe got a reprint. I don't know, or like UK, I don't know, some region got a reprint, I think. And so it dipped a little, but I'm pretty sure it got eaten back up. There was a buyout. I think that's why this price just jumped up like crazy. But guys, instead of buying the box, again, I would really recommend you just pay a little bit of a premium to get the PCETB. Again, not a ton of supply of these. Maybe 3 until it reaches 350. It's at 320-ish right now. And really only 10 until it like reaches almost 400-ish. 380, 390, right? I think this has one of the best promos of the Scarlet and Violet era. You get the exclusive PC stamp, and it's an exclusive Pokemon Center ETB. People are willing to pay extra for the Pokemon Center ETB. It's just a fact now. People realize what it is, and I think Obsidian Flames, if you're really considering buying the box, might as well just go for the PC ETB, in my opinion, if you want better gains. But yeah, I think, again, they're not going to see any reprints, so you kind of, you have a limited amount of time to buy these things up before they start shooting up. Paradox Rift. I think Paradox Rift is super underrated. I think it has an amazing Groudon. I think it has some really, really cool cards. Not anything that's crazy, but I do think illustration rares as chase cards, there's an interesting dynamic there because illustration rares tend to be harder to grade than their SIR counterparts. From what I've seen, like that Magikarp is very hard to grade, the Groudon is kind of hard to grade, and so that does kind of mean like, these booster boxes might end up actually doing really well in the future. I think Paradox Rift is probably one of the cheapest booster boxes right now you can get. Now when this was like super omega cheap, like $100 a box, I would have definitely been saying it's a no-brainer pickup. At $200 box, maybe it's not the best pickup, but at the same time, I don't think we're going to get any more Paradox Rift reprints. I just don't see it happening. It's too old at this point. It's in the same boat as like Paldea Evolved and all that stuff. And so I don't really see this box getting reprint. So I think ultimately, if you like it, maybe buy a box. And yeah. Moving on to more stuff. 151 bundles. Again, I've been talking about these for a long time. They just shot up. They're going to keep shooting up once supply dries up. And I remember I was talking about the display bundles, and I actually said there's no really need to rush into it because there was a seller that had them at like 800, at a cap almost. That seller has just changed their price to 1,000. So the goalpost has shifted, and I'm guessing what's going to happen is as people buy up more of these lower listings, this trading card world guy is going to move them up even more and more. So I think ultimately, 151, I think just booster bundle displays in general are going to be almost like booster box equivalents to specialty sets. They're going to carry a very big premium. I definitely would recommend buying 1 or 2 of these. I have a ton of bundles. I have a ton of 151 ETBs, so I'm over indexed on 151 already. I don't need more of it, but yeah, I would definitely recommend you buy some before it really shoots off. Paldea Evolved. We've been talking about it for a long time, guys. Paldea Evolved is going to be one of the best sets of the era. Magikarp is great, but it also has some other smaller chase cards and smaller hits that make it still worthwhile opening. It reminds me of Lost Origin, right? You don't need an insane amount of chase cards to make a set good. You know, Lost Origin is a good set. It only really has one amazing chase card. It has some decent like other like ancillary cast. Um, like it is somewhat deep in that it has a Pikachu, it has a Gengar, and Paldea Evolved also has like it has starters. Um, right? It has like a Raichu, it has a Tyranitar, I think. So it has some cool cards, but you know, obviously when you just need one big chase really to drive hype and demand. So I think this is still a good buy, and interestingly enough, the Paldea Evolved your PCETB has been seeing some pretty good growth, and it's been keeping up with the price of the booster box, if not continue to eclipse it. As I said before, I have never seen the Paldea Evolved Pokemon Center ETB go under the booster box in terms of price, and that still kind of remains to be true. I think it was only like not true for a small moment in time back like a few weeks ago, and then as soon as I called it out, it seems like it's overtaken the booster box in terms of price, because now you can only find them for like $400. So yeah, I think honestly this might end up being the better investment, the PCETB. But again, as I always say, not surefire. You don't know if PCTBs are going to perform amazingly in the long term. Personally, I am very, very bullish on them. I think these are going to be the best products to own in the future, but do with your money as you will. But I think ultimately, just have something in Paldea Evolved. I think it's a good set. I think it'll continue to run up. Now let's talk about one of the most underrated sets that might not be getting more reprints. Paldean Fates. Where are the Paldean Fates reprints? I'm not seeing any more bundles. I'm not seeing any more ETBs. I'm not seeing much more else. And it was actually printed after 151, which is interesting. I think Pokemon Company knows 151 is a very unpopular demand set, but I think they kind of just forgot about Paldean Fates somehow? Question mark? Paldean Fates has the most iconic SV card, one of the most iconic SV cards, the Bubble Mew. It has one of the best Charizards in the entire era. It has the best Gardevoir in the entire era. Like, Paldean Fates is one of the best sets of the SV era for sure. I bought a booster bundle display, you know, as I've talked about previously, and it is doing well for me. It keeps going up in price. I bought it for like $650. Does not stop going, and I think we're gonna reach 800, 900, even 1,000 soon. And obviously, again, PCETBs have actually seen a huge drop, and that's a buy signal, guys. People saw it run up a ton, so now they're looking at their PCETBs on their shelves and they're thinking, okay, let me sell some of this to get some cash. Now is the time to buy. When you see these dips, now is the time to buy, guys. I don't know what else to say, but yeah, you definitely want to be buying into these. If you have no Paldean Fates exposure, please buy a PCETB. This will do wonders in the long term. Mimikyu is one of the most popular Pokemon. You have one of the best promos in Mimikyu as well with the PC stamp. Paldean Fates is one of the best sets ever created. Like, I don't know, this has everything going for it. I think it is a no-brainer to pick up some of these PCETBs. And lastly, but not least, Temporal Forces. Now, this is one of the more recent SV era booster boxes, but I don't know if we're going to get a reprint for it. As you can see, Temporal Forces is above Paldean Fates in terms of when it came out, but it's below Twilight Masquerade. Now, I still think that the window for Twilight Masquerade getting booster box reprints is kind of open. I definitely could see that happening. I believe it's only a year old, or at least it's like it just barely is a year old. And so I could see everything from Twilight up getting reprints. But maybe Pokemon just kind of ignores Twilight and Stellar and just reprints the top 4 sets. We have been seeing Twilight run up a ton. And if I'm being honest, I don't really see them reprinting Temporal. We did get a Temporal restock / reprint a while ago. And so that kept the price kind of low for a while. Right now it's at around $230, $220. There are places selling it for $200. You can find on eBay, you can find on various other wholesale sites that sell boxes like this. And I think Temporal Forces is pretty underrated, like not only for the Walking Wake, Raging Bolts, Gouging Fire cards, which I think are pretty cool, but that Ghastly illustration rare is super cool. Every time I take it to card shows, vendors are always looking at it and they're like, oh, that's such a cool Ghastly card, because I had a PSA 10. I ended up selling it for some 151 bundles because, you know, Can't have one more 151 bundles, right? But yeah, I graded to Ghastly and got it to 10, and then I ended up selling it, and a lot of people love that Ghastly, man. That Ghastly is a very popular card. I don't care what anyone else says. I don't care that it's an illustration rare. Illustration rares are good enough. If people care about the card enough, they will want it, and it's pretty hard to grade. It can be hard to grade. Again, all these illustration rares, I don't know. They tend to not have the best print quality. So I think that Ghastly is a really, really solid chase card, and it will honestly continue to rise as time goes on, in my opinion. So I think Temporal Forces, not a bad buy at all. Honestly, anything that I mentioned in this video is not a horrible buy. I just don't see them reprinting a ton of it. Except for maybe 151. It's the only thing they seem to love reprinting. But yeah, I think the train is going to leave at some point for these sets, and so kind of have this in the back of your head, you know? Start looking out for deals online. If you see things 10-20% below market, or if you even believe that some of these are going to jump in the near future, definitely start picking some of these up. I will be going to a card show this weekend. Gonna be selling some more of my slabs, some singles to buy more sealed. And yeah, I'll be showing off what I get there. Again, guys, thanks so much for the support. We just reached 300 subscribers. That's an insane number. I read and reply to every single comment, so please keep leaving those comments. Please keep liking the videos and make sure to subscribe so you stay tuned for my next releases. And yeah, thanks so much for the support, guys. I'll see you guys next time.